Thank you very much. The origin of this resolution and this debate that we have tonight is numerous petitions that the Committee on Petitions have received during the past few years. As chair of this committee, I fully understand and regret to hear of the difficulties faced by petitioners. Most petitions concern the situation in Spain, but the same problems are also known in other member states. As the Petitions Committee is the bridge between EU citizens and EU institutions, and as its chairman, I strive for the EU to better take advantage of citizens' direct experiences of EU law and also the experiences of national implementation, because these experiences can help us as legislators to further improve future legislation. In this role of bringing the concerns of citizens forward to this House, we have this debate tonight. As I said, we have received a large number of petitions denouncing violation of fundamental rights and infringement of European legislation regarding the lack of accurate consumer information related to practices in mortgage banking. Obtaining accurate information is, Mrs. Chairman, crucial for making sound economic decisions and, of course, vital when we talk about important personal investment for one individual citizen and his or her family. These petitions highlight a number of abusive clauses and practices in the Spanish mortgage sector, which have been identified by both national and European courts. A large number of citizens became victims of financial fraud as their savings banks sold them very risky financial instruments, and they were not duly informed about the extent of the risks involved in the proposed investment, and the banks did not perform suitably tests to determine whether the clients had the knowledge to understand the risk that they were undertaking or not. This has led to cases of terrible personal suffering and huge economic losses, where citizens have lost their home and all part of their life savings. Many tragedies have been spilled out in front of our eyes. However, I would like to stress that the aim of this question and the discussion tonight should be seen in a wider perspective. Our aim is to raise awareness and seek clarity regarding a general problem of bad banking practices that can be found all over Europe and not only within Spain. I would therefore like to stress that transparency and informed consumer protection will be essential components if we want to combat abusive terms in mortgage contracts and thus strengthening the protection for borrowers. Nevertheless, on behalf of my committee, I would like to ask the Commission some questions related to this situation. I hope that the Commission's investigation and conclusions will allow us to improve the situation for the petitioners and also to ensure that we can avoid this kind of practices in the future and consequently improve the application of European law. So, my dear Commissioner, on the basis of the petitions, the following question should have an answer tonight. Do the petitions relate to the breach of banks' obligation in relation to the information to be provided to clients under the MiFID I as transposed by Spanish law? Has Spain properly transposed MiFID I? Or have Spanish national authorities properly enforced the applicable provisions? We are also asking which measures the Commission has taken or will take to address the abuses committed by companies selling financial instruments and affecting small depositors and small owners of financial instruments, such as preferred shares, which in many cases have been marketed without full compliance with EU legislation. I also would like to know if the Commission is willing to take some measures with regard to unfair clauses of Spanish mortgage law, in particular with regard to unfair commercial practices and incorrect behaviour of the banks that provided all these people those loans. I am looking forward to your answers, Commissioner Jourova, and also to hear the views of my colleagues. And let me say, on a personal note, that we should be full of compassion for the people that have suffered terribly, but we should also make sure that future legislation is safe and sound for everyone in Europe. Thank you.